Hello YouTube fam, welcome back to your channel Metro Mom, and today we are doing 3 DIYs inspired from French country style. French country style is a decor style where we celebrate rustic elements with a hint of shabby chic. I have started falling in love with French country style for its lived in and warm elements, and of course the vintage factor always attracts me. Before jumping into the video, I just want to remind you, please do hit the subscribe button and do support us, it means a lot. Pretty often we assume that adding vintage elements to our home can be a costly affair. But trust me, you can always find some elements in the small budget as well. Just like this beautiful clock which gives the complete vintage feel, and it costed me just rupees 499 only. I'll share my link in the description box if in case you want to check it out. Let's start with our first project, and for the first project I'm going to make a mini easel. I had this mini easel from Itsy Bitsy and my daughter has painted over it. She had scribbled using crayons, so now I'm going to give it a coat of black and white paint. For the base I'm going to use black paint on the legs section, and for the square section we will be making a design, I'll paint it in white. I will paint this section in 2 coats of white chalk paint so that we get a smooth and clean finish. Also paint the side sections. Coffee related art is quite popular in French country style, so I'm going to use this coffee themed decoupage tissue for decorating our mini easel. I got this tissue from Itsy Bitsy, and I'll share the link in the description box if in case you want to purchase it or recreate this art. So normally whenever we are using a decoupage napkin, we tear the napkin using our hand so that the design gets blended. But as you can see, this particular napkin has got a lot of designs and I don't want to disturb other designs, so I am roughly going to cut out the desired design from the napkin and then I will tear it with my hands. Now I have the desired part of the napkin with me, and I have applied some water on the edges of this design using a paintbrush, and now I am gently tearing the outer edges so that the design gets blended. Be very careful while tearing if you have very less space, otherwise you might spoil the tissue, so be careful. Now it's time to do the decoupage on the easel. We have already taken the back side of the tissue, and now we have to simply decoupage this cup design onto the easel, and for doing that I'll be using this decoupage glue from itsybitsy.com. I'll share the link in the description box if in case you want to order it, or you can just mix some white glue and water. So first I'll apply some generous coat of glue on the base of this easel. I'll gently place the decoupage napkin on the base of this easel, and then I will press it so that the air bubbles are coming out, and we will do a outward motion. Just be careful you're not spoiling or damaging the tissue. Make sure that there are no bubbles. Gently press it towards outside so that the bubbles go away from the decoupage napkin. Once you are done completely sticking this piece of napkin onto the easel, then let it dry, leave it for a while before moving on to the next step. Now using the similar process, we will stick another piece of decoupage napkin. It has written coffee shop on it, and it goes with our overall theme. Once the first coat is completely dry, then we will apply second coat of decoupage glue so that the napkin is completely secure and the decoupage process gets completed. Now in the next step, I want to give a vintage look to the edges of this easel. So I'm applying some black acrylic paint using a dry brush. You have to simply touch the brush on the edges of this easel. You don't have to follow any pattern, or you don't have to worry about whether it is the line is straight or not. You just have to give it a rustic look. Once you are done painting all the sides, just let it dry for a while before moving on to the next step. Now this step is optional, you can completely skip it, but I love using dark wax. This dark wax is from Annie Sloan and I love using it for giving vintage and rusted look to all my decor elements. So I'm going to use very tiny bit of some dark wax on this easel. Basically I'll take some wax onto a cotton cloth piece. You can take any old cloth piece and just apply a very little bit amount of wax on the sections where you want to give it a aged look, and then gently smudge it so that the design gets blended. Now in order to finish it off, I will apply a coat of varnish. This varnish is again from itsybitsy.com and this will help us secure our design so that it stays safe for longer time, and just like that we are done with this project. And our French country style easel is ready. I'm going to use this for styling my coffee and tea station in my new home, and I've styled it using some jar and a faux plant. I got this faux plant for just rupees 349 and I love it. I'm going to use it for styling places where I cannot keep real plants. As always, link for this faux plant will be available in my description box. So for our next project, I'm going to give a vintage French look to this glass bottle. I love collecting glass bottles and I do not want to paint this particular bottle because this is already so gorgeous. So first of all, I'm going to wash this, and washing reminds me of this amazing product. Basically, this is a flexible sink faucet extension hose. You can attach it to your regular tap and then you get extended faucet, and then you can easily wash things in your sink without water spillage, or maybe you can water your plants easily. This is a very useful product. This handy product is just for rupees 299 and I got this for my new home. Link is available in the description box if in case you want to check it out. So now our bottle is washed and dried and it's ready for the next step, and this is a fairly simple DIY. So basically I'm going to use an image transfer sheet. This is from Crafters Corner. You can check them out. They have got some pretty amazing designs. So I'm going to use one of the postcard designs from here in order to create a vintage look on this bottle. So I've cut out the design which I want on the bottle, and before transferring it I will apply some chalk paint roughly on the bottle so that the image gets properly transferred, otherwise design will be not visible properly. So using a sponge, I'm dabbing some chalk paint roughly on the section where I want the image transfer to be done. I do not want proper line or hard boundary because we wanted a rustic and vintage worn out look. So the quarantine and lockdown days are back and we have to be extremely careful. I know a lot of us are feeling stuck at home, so I hope these simple DIYs can keep you busy for some time. I have deliberately tried not to use too many products and tried to keep all these DIYs simple, and I hope you guys will enjoy them. Once the chalk paint has dried, it's time to do the image transfer. So first of all, I'm going to take out the plastic covering from the image transfer sheet, and yes, you can see Lily Singh's video running on my mobile in the backdrop. So first I'm going to dip this sheet in the water for a few seconds, and then I will pull it out, and then I will gently place it over the section where I have applied chalk paint, where I want the image transfer to be done. Now using my fingers, I'm applying some pressure so that the design gets completely transferred. Otherwise, we might see some imperfections, but that's okay. It's totally understandable. But also I'm going to use a sponge to apply some more pressure. Is a lightly wet sponge so that the process gets easier. Now I will pull out the white sheet, and just like that our image transfer is done. You can see some irregularities in the sponge paint section, so I will simply remove it using a blade or any sharp object, and as you can see here I've removed the excess paint, and now I am going to apply some varnish so that the design stays protected. Let it dry for a while, and just like that you are done. Sometimes a small simple change can make a huge difference, just like this DIY. This ignored glass bottle has now transformed into this gorgeous vintage bottle, and I would love to serve water to my guest in this new bottle. So the third project today is a trash to treasure project. I'm going to rescue this old chipped mug of mine. First of all, I'm going to apply some chalk paints, and for applying a chalk paint I'm going to use a piece of sponge. I'm not using a paintbrush because paintbrush will create too many visible strokes and we do not want that. So I'm gently dabbing some chalk paint on the surface of the mug, and we will need 2 coats for a smoother look. French country style has very often lavender related elements, so I'm going to use this lavender image transfer sheet on the surface of the mug. This is again a very easy process. First of all, we will take out the plastic sheet, and then we will move on to the next step. So I've placed this image transfer sheet upside down on the section where I want the image transfer to be done, and now I am applying some pressure because the surface of the mug is slightly uneven, so we have to make sure we are putting pressure properly. And now I'm using a wet sponge so that the design gets completely transferred. Remember, you have to put pressure everywhere because the surface of the mug is always slightly uneven. Now I will start pulling out the white sheet. If you feel anywhere that the design is not transferred, then again you can use the wet sponge before pulling out the white sheet. Now we have some more empty sections, so I'm going to apply another piece of image transfer sheet. This is a vintage kind of a stamp, so using the similar process I'm doing another image transfer. After the image transfer, I am going to apply some dark wax just like our first mini easel project, and then we will finish it off with some varnish just like the rest of the two projects. And here we go. Our old broken chipped mug has now transformed into this gorgeous French country style beauty, and you can use it for styling your shelves or any dull corner of your home. And that's it guys. I hope you guys enjoyed all the 3 DIYs. Let me know your feedback in the comments, and I will see you soon next week.